I'm Carmen de Lavallade, and you're listening to You Might Know Her From with Damien and Dan.
Okay, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about that you had texted or tweeted me about was Julainne Hough's newly minted cult status. And I realized we hadn't talked about it in real life.
She's having the energy like removed out of her ass.
Anus. Yes, she's literally being exercised.
I didn't understand. Okay, so there's this video, folks, going around the internet. It was on Twitter. It went viral. And Julainne Hough, I stopped because I thought it was someone getting chiropractic work, and I thought it looked fun. And so I opened it, and then I watched it, and it was this woman moaning as she's being seemingly being possessed.
It looks like a man is puppeteering her anus.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he is holding his hands over her as if she's a marionette, but she's lying face down on a massage table.
Yes. And then he was like, this person is an amazing actress and singer and dancer. And I was like, who is it? And then I realized who it was. And then I saw you say that she was in a cult now. Hello and welcome to another episode of You Might Know Her From.
With Damien and Anne.
I'm Damien.
I'm Anne, and welcome.
Julainne Hough is in a cult now.
It's the coolest thing. It's classic material for this podcast where we talk about actresses and interview one each episode.
That's true.
We are calling Julainne Hough an actress. I'm actually kind of a fan of her, so I've been following this intently. At first I hated her from Dancing with the Stars, but then she was in Burlesque, and I said, you're not good in this, but I love you in this. And then she is in Grease Live.
Yeah, I got in an argument with a friend. Colin had said that he thought she was best in show in Grease Live. And I was like, what are you talking about? Keke Palmer is.
No question.
And he was like, I don't think. And I was like, no.
No, there's no question. But I do love her forever for doing Grease Live. Okay, well,
I like her for doing it.
The point is, she recently came out as bisexual.
What?
Yes, she did. Her husband is also exploring his sexual interests.
Energies.
Yeah, and then she stood up for Gabrielle Union when they were both maligned by America's Got Talent. So yeah, I like that. That's what I'm saying. I have decent feelings for Julainne Hough, but now she's Oprah's been giving her a platform, which get your shit together, Oprah. But she started this program called Kinrgy, and it's totally a cult. It seems like it's maybe a sex cult too. You should watch some of the videos online, but wear a rope around your waist when you explore those things so your best friend can pull you back from the edge.
I'm just thinking about Dancing with the Stars, and like it's been on for like 40 seasons.
Yeah, my favorite season was the season with Marie Osmond, where she dressed up like a giant doll and then got pushed around the stage like a doll. I think it was like a wind-up doll. And of course, it's an in-joke for her fans.
Who knows she's a doll collector?
Yeah, and she has like the Marie Osmond line of dolls. So I like that the show, you know, hints at whatever the person's things are.
Yeah, like when Elizabeth Berkley was on, she did a dance to, like it was like at the Max, and it was like, I think they danced to I'm So Excited.
Yeah, got it, right. So,
and that's clever.
Right, it's a little wink to the audience.
Yeah, it's just amazing to me that it became a mainstream hit because it seems so, it's so queer.
Right, well now they have like war criminals on, so I don't know that I need to support it. But you know what we both love? This is our crossover love. This is our Venn diagram. We both love Tom Bergeron.
Oh, I think he's so good at his job.
He has really narrow shoulders, and I'm obsessed with him. I think he's excellent at his job, and his online presence is really funny.
One time I remember like they cut to the camera came back from an episode and it was like just on him, but it wasn't supposed to be. And he just did this thing where he like fake like sat down on an imaginary chair and crossed his legs. He was like, oh, hey. And then did that because it wasn't supposed to be there. And I loved him for it because he was just like filling dead air by being stupid.
Background in improv. I find him very
Studied
charming.
with Shira Piven in Chicago.
I'm a fan of his work. I think I also recently learned that Carrie Ann Inaba was a Fly Girl.
Yes!
Okay, so I didn't know that. I was like, who is Carrie Ann Inaba?
I like her.
I love her. I went back and watched a bunch of old Fly Girl videos and like behind the scenes of the Fly Girls, who I love.
She was sort of a later one, right? Like she wasn't like the era of J-Lo, I feel, right? Am I wrong?
No, she was, I think, one of the originals. Don't quote me on this. We'll fill it in the show notes. But in the original videos, like she's in some of the intros with J-Lo.
Oh, okay.
So at some point their lines were crossed.
Because I think J-Lo was only in like the first few seasons.
Yeah, so maybe that's true, but I think there was at least some point where they were there at the same time. And like Rosie Perez was a taskmaster, and she was so hard and like not nice to any of them, and she like really kept them on track because she was a fucking professional.
I love Rosie Perez. How come she's never like, has she ever done? She did do a musical on Broadway, right? But it was in the 80s. Because she's a dancer. I forget that that's her background.
I know what it is, but I'm excited by the fact that she did a musical.
Come with this with me. Follow me. She was in a show. I think she was in a revival of the show that Rita Moreno won her Tony for. Not The Ring, but it's something that sounds... The Ritz.
Is that right?
She played that role in a revival, I believe.
Okay. We
might edit this out if it's wrong, but I think it's right.
I want her so bad for this podcast. I feel like I've loved her work for so long. She's so cool. And wonderful.
I would love having her and Carrie Ann Inaba and J-Lo, Elizabeth Berkley and Marie Osmond.
The question is Julianne Hough. Dead silence. He's filling that Tom Bergeron air with dead silence. It's a no from Damien. It's a maybe from me. If she comes and exercises the energy out of my anus, I am ready for it.
With that said,
no better intro for maybe the most elite guest we've ever had on this podcast.
Prestigious.
No question. We were just kind of bowled over when we got a yes from this human that we were just ecstatic to go sit down and chat with.
This is our first Kennedy Center honoree, an actor, a dancer, a choreographer, a teacher, a singer, like a really elegant New Yorker.
And a legend in her field, pretty
Absolutely.
much just at the top tier of her field and has been for the last 50 years.
Our guest this week, Carmen de Lavallade, she was a referral from our recent guest, Sandra Lee.
Correct.
They were dancing buddies. They spoke on the phone. If I'm not mistaken, did Carmen call Sandra while we were with her?
When we were at her house, that's right. She was like, oh, pause for a phone call, and it was Carmen. And then Sandra's like, you must get Carmen. And so then she put me on the phone with Carmen de Lavallade in her apartment. And so I was sort of put on the spot, and she was so lovely and so warm. And so then it took us a couple of months to make the scheduling happen, but we finally did. And it was kind of exceeded our wildest expectations. She had us into her home. And of course, she was married to the late, great Jeffrey Holder, who was one of the most brilliant choreographers, dancers, also at the top of his game, and just like an elegant man. And their house was filled with his paintings, which was really beautiful, and we talk a little bit about in the interview. They're just a really intensely artistic New York City couple, which couldn't have been more our style.
And folks, she made her film debut in Carmen Jones, starring Dorothy Dandridge. The amazing movie musical with Harry Belafonte, Dorothy Dandridge, Pearl Bailey, and Diane Carroll, who had just passed the day before our interview. So that was very sad. But, we got to talk about Diane a little bit. And Carmen was so cool, smart, and mellow, and just a real dream.
You might know her from
Carmen Jones,
Odds Against Tomorrow,
House of Flowers,
and A Streetcar Named Desire.
Put on your pointe shoes, folks, and enjoy this interview with the legend that is Carmen de Lavallade.
Well, we are beyond thrilled to be here with actor, dancer, choreographer, Kennedy Center Honoree.
Oh, boy.
Yay. Miss Carmen de Lavallade. Carmen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
I can't believe that we're sitting here in your home, your beautiful home. We're looking at screens in your living room that were painted by your husband, Jeffrey Holder.
That is correct.
Yeah. You have a beautiful home. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
You're a Los Angeles native, is that correct?
Yes. I'm an East LA girl.
But have spent most of your adult life in New York.
Correct.
Can you talk about why the choice to stay here? Because I love it, but I don't know if since you're a California native, what was the thing that kept you here?
Work. I mean, this is where the work is. LA is it's different, when you think of work. When you think of theater, it's all here. Everybody knew that in L.A., So that's the reason why I stayed.
So you started dancing when you were a teenager. You danced...
I was actually 14. That's late.
That's true, right. And you started dancing with Lester Horton, right?
Yeah, that was later. I worked with Melissa Blake. Melissa, it was ballet and modern dance at that time. And then I had an audition for Lester when he was starting his company on Melrose Avenue, when the theater was put on Melrose. And fortunately, I got a scholarship at Lester, so that was a big plus. And I also had Carmelita at the same time because Lester and Carmelita knew each other. She's in the ballet world. She's Cicchetti technique. And they knew each other, and somehow I was a transfer. She said, well, Carmelita said, well, I'll take her. I'll take her in the ballet, and Lester sent me to ballet. That's very unusual for a contemporary person to do that, because he said that's what you need.
The discipline of ballet.
And that was from a contemporary person. Now that's pretty, far side. He wasn't one of those people who kept people. He would always see something and send that. He was one of the person that when you get to a certain point, he'd kick you out. He'd push you forward. He'd make you do things. I think he believed in not staying in one place. I don't know. He was unique.
Yeah.
Unique person. He would. It helps you grow.
He pushed you out of the nest, essentially.
That is correct. He was, before I left, that's what he was getting ready to do anyways. Push me out of there. Because I became, in the company, I don't want to say lead dancer or anything like that, but a lot of the roles I had.
You were the star.
Well, I think, and I was thinking about that, and just recently it came upon me. I think the reason why I got is that I was not necessarily a technical person. Didn't have the, like 180-degree turnouts and all that kind. I had to really work hard because I was not made with the facility that some of the people. Joyce Trissler was there at that time, but she just had all the legs and the feet and all that. I didn't have that. I had to work hard to accomplish that. And I think I was more into the story of his ballets. He was a storyteller.
These were your teenage years working with Lester Horton, and you, the story goes, took Alvin Ailey to his very first dance class.
Well, Alvin and I were at Thomas Jefferson High School, and Alvin was on the gymnastics team, and he always liked the free X section, because it was, at that time, it was all slow and really more like dance, not like it is today. For the men, all the floor exercises looked like dancing. I think that's where he felt comfortable, because he didn't dare say in school that he liked to be a dancer or anything like that. He'd be pummeled.
Yeah.
And so he'd follow me to Lester's and sit there and watch the class until Lester said, "Are you going to come to class? You're going to sit there." And I think that Lester inspired Alvin very much because of his creativity and Lester recognized something in Alvin, in anybody. He would. I know my sister Yvonne went there, and she was very shy, and he knew that. But he had a way of pulling the shyness out of people and finding the best and encouraging. Lelia Goldoni was there. She's a very fine actress now. And I don't know. He treated everybody differently. That's what I liked. Everybody wasn't the same at all. You were an individual, and he treated you that way. He tried to find which is the best quality in you, and he taught us all about painting or sculpture or I know we spent a whole afternoon once dipping tie-dye for some costumes. He taught us all those kind of skills. And you swept floors, and you put up the lights, and you did the hard work.
Did it all.
Yeah, cleaned bathrooms. He made it so that you didn't feel. You really were part of the theater, because that's what you do. As I can walk into any situation, and if it's, I just pick up a broom.
We were talking about this a little bit prior to recording about Carmen Jones. You have a dance solo in Carmen Jones, the 1954 movie musical, co-starring Dorothy Dandridge, Pearl Bailey, Harry Belafonte, and Diane Carroll, whom sadly we just lost yesterday.
I know, very upset.
Can you describe being a 23-year-old and working with that insanely talented company of people?
Oh my goodness, that was like dreamland at that. Well, Preminger was.
Well, that's what's so fascinating.
Otto Preminger was
your white Austrian director, Otto Preminger.
Yeah, he was mean. He could be mean. He could be mean, but at the same time, he was a gentleman. I remember when I auditioned. I was concert dancer and who was the choreographer? Oh dear, isn't that awful? Oh.
We'll fill it in. We can fill in the name in post.
Please do. And I came in, there were about, I think, Jimmy Truitt, myself, and Alvin. We all came from the Lester Horton Dance Theater. We're going to do this kind of dancing, and the choreographer looked at me and said, "You sure are square." And I said, "Yes, I know."
They called you out.
Yeah, called me out.
What were they looking for? What didn't you have?
It's a jazzy thing, and I was being a concert dancer or something like that. But I know we were walking across this. I know what it was, too. I had tried out for Carmen Jones. I wasn't anywhere near ready for anybody's Carmen Jones, but I thought, gee, that would be kind of interesting to try, And it's that kind of thing. I'll stick my neck out and try anything. And I think that's good, whether you're good, bad, it doesn't make any difference, the experience. But Mr. Preminger was very nice, I must say. And then I was walking across this sound stage, and I was right in the middle, I guess, ahead, and Mr. Preminger was coming in the back, and I heard him, Herbert Ross, that's who it was.
Okay.
Herbert. I just heard him say, "Mr. Ross," I just heard him say, "You are going to use Miss Lavallade, aren't you?" And I thought I would die. I said, "Oh my gosh, I've lost a job." Like some hanky-panky was going on, or something like that. I thought it was quite funny. But anyway, I was hired. And Mr. Preminger was, I watched him as a director. He was a good director. He was tough. But you have to be, you learn that. I don't care what it is on stage or film is very complicated. You can't play around with all, and time is money. And you have the cameras and you have the angles and the this and the then and all those people flying all over the place. I love watching directors work, especially in that kind of thing. That was very difficult to do, really. And we were in that bar, and oh my gosh, it was dangerous.
There were a number of crowd scenes too, and then there's the scene at the boxing match. It was a huge undertaking.
The bar was the one that was the most elaborate, because all the dancing and the moving and running on that bar. We near killed ourselves on that thing, but it was great fun.
Were you a fan of any of the people that you worked with? You were coming in as quite a youngster.
I met Harry, and,
right.
and of course Dorothy. I knew the family, and she's just beautiful, sweet as she could be, And Pearl, that was the first time I met Pearl. Pearl's tough.
Yeah, you have any good Pearl Bailey stories for us?
Oh, Pearl, she was a tough cookie. I tried to think of it, and she was very kind to me. I can get along with everybody, I think, because I don't play the star or anything. I just work, and I try to be kind and polite and take direction but that's what I think that's what Lester gave me. You do your work, and you're a team player. That's one thing about Lester's company. We were team players. We were like a big family, and everybody would help each other out, and you learn how to help people, and you know when to keep your mouth shut and when to sit and listen. Observe. That's what I do all the time. Because if you see someone that's doing something really well, I always look and say, why is that? What can I learn from this person? And that's what I came away from the Lester Wharton Theater, because that's the way we were taught. To observe.
Right. The thing that's groundbreaking about Carmen Jones is it's an all-black cast. Full
Beautiful
of
cast.
Luminaries, like legitimate stars of the last century. You have mentioned in a couple of interviews that you felt like race it wasn't a barrier in your career except when it came to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you were up for things that you didn't get, or things that you turned down?
They don't know where to place me. Because I was at Lester's, I was of color and all that kind of stuff, and I can, they always put me in the Hispanic. They always want to make me Hispanic, That's okay.
Interesting.
I grew up in a Mexican neighborhood.
Right.
Love my family in Vernon City. Went to the school in Vernon City, I just love that part of my life. But they do have a hard time, placing you, because you don't look a certain way. Well, gee whiz, big deal. Everybody,
Did you go in for things in Hollywood? Did you try to pursue a career post Carmen Jones in Hollywood?
Well, you know what it's like there. That of course, I was Susan Hayward's handmaiden and Demetrius and the Gladiators. God. I thought that I had more fun with that thing. That was fun. She was a lovely, lovely lady.
Yeah.
Oh, star. That's a star. You see Susan Hayward and your beautiful red hair, But I'll never forget, we had this whole thing with the gladiators out, and it was out in that big, where they do all the outdoor stuff. You know, I had to walk all the way over there. It was dusty and hot, and I'm walking back from shoot, and this car pulls up, and it's Susan Hayward. She said, "Get in." She drove me from that to the dressing room.
Oh, I love that.
This is a star, and I'm sitting next to Susan Hayward. Is the star? I mean, Susan Hayward, please.
Yeah.
And she was so sweet. She said, "Come," you know. And I looked, and she was playing that role of Messalina or something. There's a book, and I said, "Oh, she's doing the research on it, obviously."
Yeah.
And I thought that was a star. I said, that is a true star, who would stop and pick up her handmaiden, you know. And it was wonderful watching her on set. And Victor Mature and William Marshall, I think that was his first. And I always like to look and see how people work. I mean, it's a different technique. It's certainly not like being on stage, which is very broad, you know. Film is very minimal. And that's a whole other technique that you have to learn. You know, it's other language, I call it.
Yeah. Did you get any pointers when you were first on camera? Did you have to get reined in?
No.
You knew it. You had it.
No, I just kind of looked at whatever, you know.
You read the room.
Well, I guess if you want to say that. Yeah, yeah. A step at a time, you know. And I'd leave there and go and work and... what was that movie? Lydia Bailey. That's where I danced with Jack Cole. That was the experience. Jack Cole. Oh my goodness! He was like working with a tornado.
Oh.
He was very kind to me too. Like I said, because I work hard, I take direction.
Did you feel like you had his style in you, or you had to learn it?
He was very pleased with what I think he scared me half to death. That's what I learned very quickly.
Very athletic.
Yeah. Oh my! It's the hardest technique I think I've ever done. Lester's is hard. It's difficult, but his was precise. Because he based it on dances from India, you know, precision, and he was as hard on himself as he was with other people. If he rehearsed you 8 hours, he worked the 8 hours. He was always on his feet, and he would, oh my gosh, it was difficult. And then I ended up having to dance with him. And I remember we had to hit inside the leg or some kind of thing on the arm, and he'd look me in the eye and say, hit hard, because the harder you hit, the less you'll feel it. I said, okay, and it's true.
Good advice.
No, but he was a remarkable man. And if you work hard, he was all for you. You know, I've had such wonderful teachers, I should say, that have given me things because I had sense enough to listen. You know, people don't listen young people now have to listen to what's around them. They don't. You don't know everything at all, and it just makes your work richer when you observe, and especially the masters, if you're around masters like that.
Speaking of masters, you talked about Susan Hayward really behaving like a true star. I'd heard you also mention that when you danced with Josephine Baker, you were in your early 20s. She was maybe in her late 50s. And
60.
Was she in her 60s?
I remember at the Olympia, she says, not bad for 60. I remember her saying that. And that's true.
I mean, you got to dance with Josephine Baker. That's incredible.
She would push me forward. She says, you don't bow enough. You don't bow.
You said she was generous.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And it was that kind of thing, you know. She says, well, you know, somebody's got to take my place. She was really sweet to me, I must say.
You said that you thought that was a sign of a true star, of somebody that is able to be around a fellow talent and allow them to have the spotlight.
Absolutely.
So did that experience working with her inform your relationship with a new generation of young black dancers? For instance, you've been a mentor to Misty Copeland. I didn't know if that informed your relationship with younger dancers.
And I was in their place at one time, so you know what they go through. If they ask you questions, you try to answer their questions. You try to be a part of their life, too. I love being around young people.
Our research shows that your friend Mildred Dunnock led you to the Yale School of Drama?
I think in a funny kind of way, yeah, because I went there to see her.
Right.
You know, and I remember before we would have lunch to go or dinner before the show, you know, I would always have a little sherry or something like that.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh, she was a wonderful actress. I followed. Oh my goodness, she was wonderful.
So your time at Yale, you actually taught so many luminaries. People like Meryl Streep and Sigourney Weaver, Wendy Wasserstein.
Well, I taught them movement, you know. I didn't expect them to be dancers, you know. I mean, the actors are different. They have to know, they have to have command of their bodies. And I would tell them that you have to know what you're doing on that stage. So you're able to get out of whatever somebody gives you can do, you know. You have to know, all right, I know movement, but you have to know your body, not so much to be a dancer, but if somebody wants to give you some movement, you've got to be able to move or just around the stage, anything. And we used to have games all the time. And if they had a scene in class that said, well, what would you do if you couldn't speak and you had to move? How would you do it? And they would come up with the best stuff. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, who surprised you while you were there? What students?
Everybody. I'm not kidding. Each one was different, but they would come up with the remarkable actors are fearless, and they love inventing, you know. And some are more inventive than others. Joe Grafazzi, I used to love to work with Joe Grafazzi. He's my favorite. Not my favorite. Well, everybody was my favorite. I don't want to, you know that I love you guys.
Meryl Streep's on the bottom of your list.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Meryl. I was seeing some little thing that they did in class work, and all I could say was, well, there it is. I mean, that's all you can say. Well,
yeah.
She loves to invent. She's great at invention.
Do you ever watch anything that she's in and think, I taught her that?
No. What was the thing where she was dancing around that thing with all that thing on the island?
Mamma Mia!
Mamma Mia.
Oh,
see,
yeah.
Carmen, I feel like...
That's you. You did that.
I don't know. She was just bouncing around. I said, go on, Carmen. Meryl's just bouncing around, and she was terrific.
Yeah. Now I'm going to rewatch it, imagining her like in your class rolling around on the floor doing modern dance.
Yeah, it wasn't modern dance so much as we just invented a lot, you know, and see how far can your body go? What do you feel comfortable with? Or how can you use it for this situation? Or that. Midsummer Night's Dream. We did Midsummer Night's Dream. She played Helena. And she was just wonderful. Had more fun.
Am I correct that you played Titania in that production?
Sure did. With Christopher Lloyd.
Wow.
Oberon. Oh, did we have fun. He was terrific.
Oh, that is
there's
special.
a lot of movement. Tony Shalhoub.
Wow.
Who was
Shalhoub in that?
Mustard Seed. He was one of the...
That's a good role for him.
And all the parts of the fairies were men.
Okay.
Not women, which I thought was really interesting. And that's what Alvin Epstein wanted. But they have a different weight. So that because in the play they're mean.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. And the girls can be a little, you know, we get a little too delicate or something, but the guys have that weight to be mean if they have
And
to.
it's a little scarier somehow.
Yeah, they moved beautifully. We invented they invented their own. You know, I just give them the idea and let them go. That's the way we used to work all the time, you know. And that set was just, I love that. It was like a scoop. And we're like 15 feet up in the air I was, you know, up on this ledge that was about, you know, tiny little ledge, and you had to be able to maneuver. And that went back to my time at Lester Horton when I was doing the Salome, is that we had like 6 or 8 levels to maneuver. Because of that experience, I had no problem with that set. And it was on different level scoops and different, you know, precarious.
Right.
And
no major injuries.
Except for Christopher.
What happened?
He made one leap. It was something, you know, could be that much off somehow, and over he went and just tore up his tendon.
Mm.
He had to crawl all over this end of the play. It was awful. Poor guy.
He made it through the show, though.
He certainly did, brilliantly. That's what that's where he used it in a funny kind of way, which was really brilliant.
Yeah. So obviously you're known as a dancer.
Yeah. That's got that old thing stamped on the head. Oh, that's the only thing, because they're looking, when she's a dancer. And then, whoop, excuse me, please?
Yes. So, with that being said, you also sang in the House of Flowers. And House of Flowers...
Well, I wouldn't say sing, you know.
You sang in House of Flowers.
The company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you also sang at Carnegie Hall.
Yeah, I did with Benny Goodman.
That's incredible.
How about that? I thought I was going to... He had me do that.
Did singing intimidate you?
Yes. I'm not a singer. Billie Holiday wasn't a singer. There are people... Lottie Lenya was not a singer. But look what they did with their voices. Oh, my goodness. So that kind of helped me out there, because they interpret. It's a big difference.
Yeah, storytellers with
exactly.
honest voices.
Good singers are storytellers.
What did you do before you stepped on stage at Carnegie Hall? Did you have a ritual to calm yourself?
I get very quiet. That's that Lester Horton thing again. We were not allowed, half hour before the show, you zip the lips. Nobody was allowed to speak.
A full half hour, no talking before you go on stage.
Ooh.
Wow.
And so why? Because you have to concentrate on what you're going to do. I thought that's the best advice.
I like
You're
that.
just quiet.
Do you use that still?
I just clam up. Everybody knows it too. All the companies. I get on stage, and that's where I do. And I just get my space out and concentrate my distances and think about what I'm going to do and be quiet.
Okay, Carmen. This is the part of our show.
Yeah.
Sort of like a rapid fire. We can take our time, but we're going to our questions are erratic here.
Okay.
You take as much time as you need. We're just going to fire them off at you. Non sequiturs.
Okay, do my best.
Okay.
I saw you in the 2012 revival of A Streetcar Named Desire, directed by Debbie Allen.
Right.
You played the woman with the flowers.
Right.
In this moment, can you recreate that iconic theater line?
Nope.
Flores para los muertos.
Flores para los muertos. Flores para los muertos. I don't know what that was a combination. Everybody said, "What are you doing?"
I was into it. I saw it and I loved that production.
I thought she was an interesting character.
To me, I think it's one of the most famous lines of all American theater.
That character, it was very mysterious, very strange lady.
Mm-hmm. And you sort of weave in and out of the show.
I made this bizarre thing. She knock on doors and do, those people who show up, and after it was Louisiana, for crying out loud. Talk about all kind of
ghosts and
level of like mystery or magic.
Mystery and magic, and all kind of stories about things. Yeah, you have to have that, otherwise. Mystery. It has to be mystery, and I thought it should have been that way. I don't know. That was my feeling about it. I know some people disagreed with me. I don't care.
I loved it.
Are you and Debbie Allen close?
Yeah, we're family. I find everybody I work with, I end up being kind of like family.
Yeah. Okay, Carmen, you and your husband, the late great Jeffrey Holder,
right,
were married for 59 beautiful years.
How about that?
Can you describe to us what you and Jeffrey's perfect Sunday would have been in New York City?
In New York City? Oh, he probably had the radio on or something like that. He's painting. I don't know. We didn't have any specific, whatever happened that day. I don't know.
Yeah. Were you guys people that like to stroll? Were you walkers in the city? Like, do you like to get out and be in it, or not so much?
Yeah, Jeffrey did. He liked being out in the city.
Yeah.
He was king of it. When we were in Soho, he was king of Soho, I'll tell you that. He knew every vendor on the thing. It was really, they kind of looked out after him, because when his knee was bad or something, they watched him. Looked out, which I thought was really, he knew everybody. He was a people person.
Yeah.
He was very good with people.
Carmen, is Harry Belafonte a good kisser?
You saw the film.
Of course. Odds Against Tomorrow is actually, I was not familiar with it, a beautiful film.
It's a good film.
I love Robert Wise's work, and I
love Robert Wise's work.
So good, and I was so glad to be able to...
Modern jazz quartet music.
Yes.
Gorgeous.
Filmed in New York City.
Yeah. That's a real New York City film, I think. Better ones.
I agree, and I don't know why it wasn't on my radar, but I was so glad in our research that I got to see that, and then I got to see you make out with Harry Belafonte. It was great.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, Carmen, you famously danced to the iconic song Soul Bossa Nova.
Right.
What did it feel like then when Austin Powers used that song and it was then associated so closely with that?
I said I did it first.
Hell yes.
I did it first. Besides which, the composer...
Wasn't it Quincy Jones?
Quincy.
Yeah.
When we were, Jeffrey and I were in Paris, we had gotten it. We heard this piece. I said, Jeffrey, this song. We had a lot of fun with it, and we asked his permission. Quincy, do you mind if we go on? That's what we did in those days. You know, people were very generous with their work, and because he gave us permission to use that, I thought that was pretty cool. So Quincy's always been our nice, sweet Quincy.
Yeah.
I always loved him for that, and he was so generous with that. And it got to be so popular. I can't believe that crazy thing, you know, and Jeffrey did that wonderful white dress, and everybody wanted to buy off my back. It was some famous French star that wanted that dress so badly. She wanted to buy it off my back.
Did she get it?
Did you sell it to her? No.
No.
Good.
In 2017, you received the Kennedy Center Honor, but famously declined the White House reception due to the current administration's socially divisive and morally caustic narrative.
Right.
Was it a difficult decision to make?
Not really. I've never done that, really. I just had seen the thing what happened in Charlottesville, and that did it for me. Yeah. All I could see was that the grand, whatever his name was, and the fire with the cross, and that all I could say was poor Jesus, you know. Yeah. Really. I can't tolerate that kind of nonsense. No, it was wrong. And I don't think that Presidente, that the Kennedy Center is his kind of theater. You know what I mean? Just something that he would enjoy sitting. I don't think he could sit that long to see. I don't know if he would be interested in any of those people
at all.
No.
We had a great group.
It was great.
It was a good year.
Norman Lear was our. He started all that old stuff anyway in a funny kind of way, and we had a great group. Really wonderful group. I was so pleased to be a part of. You
still got the award. You just didn't have to. You didn't have to get disgusted by being around our president.
It was really funny during that time. We were standing in the line, you know, where all the microphones and all that kind of stuff is, and I'm waiting there, and I noticed this big guy in a white suit or whatever, and I just kept looking because he was just huge. And then my son, Leo, bless his heart, went over and introduced me. I said, "Who's that?" And he went over and he kissed my hand. And I said, "How sweet! This big bruiser of a guy." You know, I think, well, that's, you know, we go through the line. I said, "Leo, who was that?" I didn't know. He said, "Ma, it was Busta Rhymes."
Buster kissed your hand?
Yes, he did. And I want him to know that I really appreciate it. I thought that was just the sweetest thing I ever.
Oh my God, I'm dead.
I thought that was adorable.
I love Busta Rhymes forever. I mean, I already do, but
yeah, I like it already.
And he said, "Anything, make way for the Queen." He said, yes, he did.
Put your hands where my eyes can see.
I thought that was so sweet, and I just thought, you know, I thought Busta Rhymes. So he has to know that I just thought he was just.
He's a longtime listener of our podcast.
Is he? I hope so.
Hopefully, we love him.
Yeah, no, but I thought that was really. You never judge people, you know.
I love that so much.
That's my favorite story, that I had my hand kissed by Busta Rhymes at the Kennedy Center.
Incredible.
Really good.
And to meet LL Cool J.
So cool.
That's right. He was there that night.
He was an honoree.
That's right.
And he's got those sweet dimples.
He's very handsome.
Yeah, and sweet.
Yeah.
Everybody was terrific. So I've had a wonderful life.
You have had a wonderful life.
I really have.
Colorful and interesting, and you've said yes to so many cool things. So thank you for taking some time this morning to talk with us.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Carmen. Busta Rhymes coming through as a gentleman. Come on. I don't know that I'm surprised, but it really was just beautiful news because I love him. And he knows enough to be like very charming and gracious to the great Carmen de Lavallade.
Yes.
So many props to him. Love him. Love Carmen. She was just so sweet and so funny and easy with us. So we had a great time with her.
One of my favorite things was when she was talking about watching Meryl Streep in Mamma Mia, and we both screamed, and then you were like, but did you think I taught her that?
She's like, no. And I was like, really? I can't wait to rewatch Mamma Mia and just be like, what is Carmen de Lavallade in this performance? Pretty much by everything.
There was also this other moment that didn't make the interview where we talked about Carmen has a small role in The Hours. Mm-hmm. And we were like, oh, did you get that role because you were Meryl Streep's teacher? And she was like, I actually don't remember how it came to be. And then Ian was like, Meryl Streep does do a lot of movement work with moving her bangles around her arms. And Carmen was like, oh, okay. And it was like,
she was like, she's always got something.
She's always inventive. And you were like, yeah. But is that you?
I'm pretty much trying to just position Carmen in every single Meryl Streep film. But truly, The Hours, pretty much the only thing I remember about it, besides Nicole Kidman talking to a dead bird, was Meryl Streep and the fucking bangles on her arm.
Yeah, I remember that. She was a lesbian in that. I need to rewatch it.
Oh my God, with Allison Janney.
Yes.
Fuck.
And then Claire Danes is their daughter.
I hate that movie.
And then Ed Harris is in it. I love him.
You are so sexually attracted to Ed Harris. He's on Broadway right now.
I know.
So we'll just see if anybody can make that happen for Damien. Let's just like
you mean like us, like fuck?
Sex. If anyone can make sex.
Yeah,
with
I
Ed
already saw To Kill a Mockingbird. Folks, thanks so much for listening. You know what you can do if you liked listening, if you enjoyed this interview with Carmen, please share it. Please subscribe while you're there. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Mm-hmm. And please just give us a 5-star review, a little heart emoji, or the name of an actor you'd like us to interview in the future. It will be so great. For the love of Carmen de Lavallade, please leave us a review. Thanks.
And of course, you can follow us on social media for all of the great goods that we've got given you here, but on a daily basis. We're on all mediums at Damien Bellino and at Rodaman. That's my last name and my first name, Rodemanne.
Might know her from is produced by Damien Bellino and Ann Rodaman. Special thanks to our consultants at Grumpy Entertainment, Jason Jude Hill and Daniel Sears. Editing also by Daniel Sears.
All music by Gang. You can find Gang on iTunes and Reverb Nation. ReverbNation.com/gang. And for a complete list of titles and names we mentioned, check out the show notes compiled at the bottom of each episode description. That includes this clip. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da dee dee doo. Do 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 do